Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for testing and vaccination sites. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In it together, SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every week on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, offering free rides to get your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Financial Services, with over 20 years of experience. Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Honest, professional, reliable computer sales and service. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In it together, SC, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Javis Financial Services, Computers Unique, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Happy holidays and welcome to Coping with COVID. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. We are streaming live on the TailorMade production page. That's the home of Coping with COVID. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Not only will you be able to watch Coping with COVID Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can also get all of your COVID-related updates. We are also streaming live on the TailorMade production YouTube page. Please go over there also and hit like and share and follow. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We would love for you to do that. Hey there to everyone joining us on YouTube. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. Hey, don't forget, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, we've got all kind of great information for you. All of the information that I shared with you previously about COVID vaccinations, appointments, booster shots, tests, and also financial assistance if you need it for your rent, for your mortgage, for your electricity bill. All of that information, including job openings, are scrolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. So don't forget to post and share this information out so we can get the message to the masses. Happy holidays to you. And we are talking to Michelle Dugar. If you have a reader in your family, a child reader in your family, Michelle has a great idea in my Zoom box. Michelle, first of all, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Tre. Happy to be here, feeling festive.
And thank you so much for joining us. How amazing is my Zoom box? Tell me about it.
Well, my Zoom box is a subscription box. I know people wonder, does this have to do with doing virtual meetings on Zoom? No, none of that. What it has to deal with is African-American families, African-American children's, because my Zoom box is a subscription box of African-American children's books. Right. And what makes it unique is that while we all know reading is fundamental,
it
is, my Zoom box brings the fun. We put the fun in fundamentals. And I think that's what makes what we're doing so impactful, because historically, at least from my point of view, and actually statistics show this, the element of fun as it relates to African-American children's book was missing, where so many of the books were historically based.
Yeah.
And that served a purpose, because a lot of children's books were related to historical figures or historical reference in time, because it was missing from the school system, generally speaking. It wasn't as much of African-American history there. But for children's books, that's some heavy subject matter at times, whether it's dealing with slavery or civil rights. So what we bring is another dimension, again, highlighting fun.
So this, the books that you feature in my Zoom box are historically based, but as you said, they come from a standpoint where children can enjoy them and understand them.
Actually, we don't do a lot with historical base. I feel like there is a market out there, whether it's, say, a book about Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King that I grew up with, or the setting is during the Jim Crow era. We actually look to generate experience for children that's based more on fantasy or sci-fi, lighthearted storylines where the hero of the story is someone of color. where the protagonist, whether it's male, female, is someone of color doing something that kids may want to aspire to
Gotcha.
go through, as opposed to, say, overcoming adversity. It can be a book where it's just humorous, but what they get to see is a brown face doing
Yeah.
something cool.
Yeah. So why my Zoom box? Why is this needed?
Well, I think that the lack of representation amongst African American children's books is impactful, but also the content of what they
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And I say it's needed because, one, all children deserve the opportunity to have books that inspire inspiration,
Yeah.
imagination, escapism, and where they could see themselves represented. And those type of books that were inspiring and give them the opportunity to use their imagination typically only had white characters or an animal wearing clothing. You know, a turtle that has a bear as his best friend, or
Yeah. Yeah.
and that impacts their psyche of how they see themselves, or when they don't see themselves.
Yeah.
And then
Because while a turtle and a bear being friends does show diversity, I'm not a turtle or a bear. So I may not, as a child, get that correlation.
exactly, and maybe you're marginalized. And when now that we have recently seen books that how should I put it, inspire children to see their specialness. Like, I
Yeah.
love my
Yeah.
hair
Yes.
and so
Yes.
forth. The second point I have is that I really think it's impactful when a child gets to see someone that looks like them being extraordinary.
Yeah.
And if you think about when Black Panther, the movie, came out, and we had that Black superhero,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Wakanda forever, everybody of color was standing a little taller.
Oh, yeah. You're
Yes.
right.
And
Yeah.
how impactful that was for adults and for children as well. So my goal with this, and why I think it's needed, is not only for them to have representation, but where it becomes ordinary to be extraordinary. And
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
has such a big impact. I even think, for example, you may remember that movie 24
Mhm.
with Keith Sutherland, and the president in that series, not the movie, I'm sorry, the TV series, was an African American actor. I think we got used to seeing the president be a man of color, and
Right.
that might have helped prime the pump and get people to imagine the possibilities of seeing an African American president. Then when you got used to it, and then lo and behold, so not only where they could see themselves, they're not marginalized, but where it could help with their sense of self,
Mhm.
and also their sense of well-being. I think in this past few years, or couple of years in particular, with the Black Lives Matter, people of color, I mean, it was kind of heavy. I mean, emotionally, spiritually, mentally heavy, witnessing that in real life, and where we need an opportunity of escapism and to regroup. And I think having these positive, uplifting storylines that also just so happen to have a face
Yeah.
of color, is supportive to the child. And then when they love to read, as I said, reading is fundamental. Enjoying books, enjoying reading can have such an impact academically.
Michelle, did something happen that made you think this was needed? And listen, because it's one thing to think it's needed, it's another thing to do it because it's needed.
Well, I think my idea of, the impact as a child loving books. I come from a family of educators. We are all nerds. We love books. But when given or seeing a book that was titled like an African American book, and being like, oh, because
Yeah.
it was the subject matter, it wasn't fun. It
Yeah.
was like, okay, here's a cover, beautifully illustrated book with a child wearing overalls, or you see the storyline, and they're going through some things and they're trying to. So for me personally, feeling a little off about that, and wishing that I could see a book where it was fun to read. And then I noticed, I think what really moved me was started noticing more and more books that were, case in point, I'll show you one we have, where it's a little girl that raising a dragon, and she just happens to be Black. And
Mhm.
that's what I want, where it's like fun books
Yeah.
that weren't about being Black,
Got you. Got you. Yeah.
where they just happen. And so I was like, these are awesome. I'm starting to see them, but you can't, it's hard to find because they may be listed under, say, this book right here. She's Raising a Dragon,
Dragons. Mhm.
but it would not be listed as an African American book.
Exactly, because it's not necessarily an African American book. It's a book with an African American character as the
And
lead.
so singing that book and singing another book, and I realized, let me do a little searching, that there's enough to sustain an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
And it was like the time is right. And I think also with COVID and wanting to empower children that are experiencing just sit as adults are, and maybe losing out on that sense of connection through COVID and having distant learning and parents having to deal. And I was like, this is a great time if a child could read a book and enjoy reading and maybe not fall behind because of things that are outside of control with the learning environment, but also empower families while they're all quarantining together to have these positive experiences. So the right time and seeing more books come about.
So you are actually kind of helping parents, not by identifying those books, taking the time and work and effort it takes to try to find, like you said, because it's hard to find those types of books, and then putting it in my Zoom box, which is a subscription book. Subscription service. Michelle Dugar joins us. She's with My Zoom Box. You're watching Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Please post and share this information out, because I know you've got a reader who would appreciate My Zoom Box. So tell me how it works. How do we subscribe?
Okay. So they would go to myzoombox.com, and then they have the opportunity to pick what type of books that they want, because we are fortunate that we have a box for the babies that's 0 to 3.
That's good.
Where they would get a board book. A board book is typically a little thicker, smaller, easier for small hands to manipulate.
Yeah.
Or if they are from say kindergarten to 7 years of age, so that's like 3 to 7, they can get a picture book. So that's picture books. And then the last category we have are chapter books. And so that's like from 7 to 13. So they pick what type of box they want. Each of these boxes come with at least 2 books and swag. So it's age appropriate, because again, we're making it a fun reading experience. So once they pick the book, they decide the length of they want for the subscription. If they want to just do it month to month, or 3 months or 6 months, the longer the commitment, the greater the savings. And then each month, the child will get a box. Each month there isn't a theme. So that theme is carried out with the books, is carried out with the swag. And then we also have, because again, we're here to help the family, tips that help encourage reading. So tips for the parents, like things to do with the toddler or that young reader or that child that's starting in chapter books, to help them with their critical thinking, to help them with language skills. So it is a family affair, have the fun aspect in it. And it starts with going to myzoombox.com, sharing with us a little information about that special young reader, and then looking forward to that monthly box that's going to come your way.
Tell us a little bit about price point, Michelle.
You said the price point?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now the prices range from $26 to $32. And for an introductory, since we are launching this year, the price is 15% lower. We have a special going on in there. And I say it ranges because also if you're in a situation where, say, for picture books, you have 2 siblings that are close in age, they can get the same set of book, that one set of book, but we'll give them 2 sets of swag. So they're not necessarily having a fight over who gets to use the doll or the toy or the puzzle. So yes, from the 20s to the low 30s.
And I'm glad you mentioned that about multiple children, because my situation is I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So 3-year-old girl, 5-year-old boy, so they are close in age, almost 6, but they're close in age, but then they are reading differently. I mean, they're on a different level. And then boy and girl. So it's good that you've got some options for people with multiple children. I love it. So it's already launched now. My Zoom box. People can go to the website, look through, pick out their subscriptions. And I think such a wonderful idea for children to get something in the mail. That's the first thing, because who gets something in the mail? I mean, we get a billion boxes on Amazon, but we are so internet driven now. Kids, I think, would enjoy even getting something in the mail, something special for them in the mail, don't you?
I do. And that's why we have like the different swag, we have the messages to them, and for them to get away from the screen sometimes,
Yes.
to engage in something tactical and build those reading skills and those experiences. And I'll give you a peek at some of the swag we
Oh,
have.
great. That
So
would be
like
awesome.
the dragon theme, for example. And you mentioned having different ages, and what's unique were, well, you said 3 and 6?
Yeah, 3 and 6. He'll be 6 next month.
So even a young child who can't read yet can benefit from reading out loud, as well as older children
Yeah.
can benefit from reading aloud. So where if you are reading to both, or if the older child is reading a simpler book or a book like this,
Yeah.
don't take your dragon into the library. While they may get it when they're very young, let's say 3, the stories and the text is something that they could continue with as they get older.
Yeah.
So what we're looking for is helping families to create libraries, to build
Good.
self-esteem, to have fun. And as I mentioned with the swag, so that's the dragon theme. So things like a slap bracelet that looks like dragon,
Yeah.
this engagement they have fun with, a glider. This goes with the older children, so it's a glider
Yeah, about an
that
airplane.
looks like a dragon.
Yeah, that's great.
The younger one, for the little ones, they would get some of this, and then there's
Yeah.
puzzles and so forth.
Oh,
So
I
really
love
looking to
that.
create an engagement, something they look forward to, where reading is not something that other people do,
Right.
or that's a chore, or
A
that's
chore, a
homework.
task. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So my Zoom box, people can go to the website right now and go ahead, look over the plans, tailor their subscription or subscriptions to the children. Get 15% off right now. And this is a great, because I'm thinking in my mind as a gift, this would be a great way to gift someone, give them a 3-month or whatever month, subscription to my Zoom box.
I like the way you think, Trey.
It's a
Great.
gift.
And
Keep on
the
giving.
time of year, yes, what a great
That's
idea.
right. 'Tis the season to give a book. And why not give one to a child? If you're already thinking about giving a child a book, why not give them, again, just their own personalized book and package that they can get over and over again. Anything else we need to know, Michelle, about my Zoom box? I'm super excited for you about it.
I think that is one. Well, they get 2 to 3 books a month that are themed, a fun experience that supports their academic success, and for us not to really underestimate the power of learning to love books,
Yeah.
and the impact of seeing a brown face for a child that's doing cool and exciting things, and where we expanding what it means to be a person of color, where
Yeah.
again it
Yeah.
becomes ordinary to be extraordinary. So I
Oh,
was thinking, like, what is the impact of that young person in your life if they took on that mindset, where they could be the superhero, or they could be the one that is not just Black, but that is brave or
yeah.
clever and funny. And we have it here for you at myzoombox.com.
That's right. They can see themselves and dream and believe and imagine anything through a book. And my Zoom box is certainly one of those ways they could do it. I'm so excited for you. This is such an amazing venture that you've started. And the time is right. I love that you said the time is right to do it. You had some time during COVID. People have time to read. So, I say all the time to dreamers, and you are definitely a dreamer and an innovator, that it's one thing to get an idea. It's another thing to move forward with it. And
Thank you.
yeah, and so good luck to you. Congratulations. And don't forget my Zoom box. Your children in your life need this Zoom box. Why Zoom box before I let you go?
The phrase just came to me. It sounded like fun and
Yeah.
maybe feeling it's a little retro for me from
Zoom,
back
Zoom.
in the
I
day.
love Zoom. I love Zoom. Zoom,
Ah,
Zoom.
Zoom.
Zoom,
Azuma,
Zoom,
Zuma,
Zoom,
Zuma,
Zoom.
Zuma. Yeah. So, and then where the child, as you mentioned before, like the specialness of getting something just for you, where
Yeah,
they would be
yeah.
like, "Has my Zoom box come?" And
Mhm.
um, so yeah, I think that's part of it. And another thing I did want to share, if we have a moment, is that
Yeah,
for us not to underestimate the power of words or the subtleties of when you see things a certain way, where it's not just seeing a brown face,
yeah.
but what that face is doing, and the power of language. And so I'm excited that we can help to change the narrative, pun intended,
Mhm.
of what children see and what becomes the norm. And when I was doing research into children's books and what's out there, I came across an article where someone was actually talking about the lack of representation of African Americans doing things outdoors, like hiking and
Mhm,
kayaking. And
mhm.
so, and there is a movement with that. And that article prompted me or piqued my interest because I started camping myself. And she made mention, like, her favorite book was about camping or being outdoors, and how there was very little books that show African Americans doing things like
Right, right.
camping and hiking. And I realized those things kind of stay in the back of your
Yeah,
brain, like, oh, we don't do
we don't
that,
do that. Mhm.
when in fact we do. And it's just to show more of what we do.
And what
And
we can do,
hmm,
and what we can do.
and one of the reasons I'm also excited about this is it can impact, having these type of books impacts not only how children of color see themselves, but how other people,
See us. Yeah, yeah.
you know, and that, so these types of books, having them readily available, can change the narrative of children. It can change how people interact with us, what they expect, how we show up, how we are, others engage with us. And there's, again, words and images are
Yeah,
so powerful in the
very
subtle
much.
ways. There's a lot of the books may mention things of slaves. And I was actually on my camping trip taking a tour, and in South Carolina, one of the state parks, and the ranger mentioned the history of the area that include enslaved humans. And
Mm,
that subtlety of the word, the energy, instead of saying, oh, slaves, it's just a
yeah,
different energy. It's
yeah.
referring to them as enslaved
Enslaved.
people, where it's more, it's like, these are people first
Right,
that had something
right.
tragic,
Yeah.
injustice done to them, and they are triumphing, versus slaves. There's a subtlety as though they're less.
Mhm.
And those type of things are like the subtlety of words. Or in history books where they mention Africans being brought over as workers. I don't know if you remember that controversy of one of the
Mhm. Yes, I
textbooks.
do. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like they were not workers.
Right, 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 right.
They were enslaved people.
Right. They
So
weren't brought over, they were forced.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's these subtle things that kind of marginalize um our significance, and also colors how we see ourselves, and also how other people engage with us. So in a small way, if my Zoom box, where we carefully curate books that help to change the narrative, that can make reading a joy, and we know the long-term implications of that, that can give families an opportunity to engage with each other. And it's all,
Yeah.
it's fun. So we're bringing the fun.
I love it. I love it. Michelle Dugar, my Zoom box. Go to the website and check out the subscriptions, and make sure the child in your life gets a subscription. I'm going to do that to my
Yay.
Zoom box. Michelle, good luck to you. God bless.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Happy holidays. And girl, keep on zooming.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Aiken Cockrum. As Miss America, I know that taking care of yourself is important. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
The Comet gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean, and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there, and it gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comet is our livelihood.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday life. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Let Palmetto Painting Services take the worry out of your next home painting project. We can paint anything. Our business is about interior painting and exterior painting. We offer services for residential and commercial properties. Restore the life to your home with a fresh coat of paint from Palmetto Painting Services. References are available upon request. Give us a call at 803-546-4570 today.
How will you remember the year 2020?
COVID.
Losing my job.
Working 12-hour shifts in a mask.
Losing my grandma to COVID.
COVID has claimed thousands in South Carolina and strained our health system, schools, businesses, and families. If you're struggling and need to talk, call SC Hopes. That free call can help put you in touch with people who can help. This goes for healthcare workers, teachers, restaurant employees, parents, anyone and everyone. SC Hopes, mental health and addiction support for challenging times.
You're watching Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Hey, don't forget, we are streaming live on the Tailor Made production page on Facebook. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Not only will you be able to watch Coping with COVID Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but first Monday with national comedian George Wallace. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Please go over there and hit subscribe button. We would love for you to watch us and share all of this great information with us. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. Hey, I'm Tre Tailor. And don't forget also, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you'll see some great information. All of the information that we talked about today on resources for COVID, including times and places and locations for you to get your shot, whether it's a booster shot, your kid's shot, your first shot, your second shot. All of that information is on the bottom of the screen. Also, some great financial resources if you need them, and job opportunities. Right now, though, we are going to talk to some ladies that are doing some amazing things in Lake City, South Carolina. All right, Jasmine Frazier joins us with Girl Squad. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on Girl Squad. Tell us about it. Why did you think it was a good idea to launch Girl Squad?
Tre, thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
Girl Squad is a nonprofit organization, and it was created by not only myself, but also my friend, Taja Dennis. We are both natives of Lake City, South Carolina, and we just wanted to find a way to give back to the young girls in the community by combining some of the things that we love, and that is creativity. We love being creative. So we wanted to give back in just a positive, creative way, something to catch their attention and keep them interested.
Yeah. Did you think that that was a need in Lake City, Jasmine?
I do. Growing up there myself, it's a very small town. There's not a lot of things to do for the girls that age. So we thought that it was very much needed just to give them a positive outlet.
Yeah. Well, now, what age group do you serve with Girl Squad?
For Girl Squad, our age range is girls ages 10 to 15.
10 to 15. Now, how do you recruit these girls? Where do you get these girls from?
So right now, all of our posting is done through social media. So we do all of our recruiting through Facebook and Instagram.
So when you first started, you and your girlfriend, Taja, what was the goal? Were you just sitting around thinking, I need to do this? Or was there something that happened in your community that made you and Taja come together?
So excellent question. It was actually placed upon my heart originally to that I needed to give back in some type of capacity. And when thinking about, what I could do that could make an impact, immediately young girls came to mind. And then again, I wanted to just combine something that I felt that I was good at.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I use the talents that God gave me, that He would bless me to be able to bless others through that. And that is, for me, crafting and creativity. So it was just out of a desire to give.
So listen, it is one thing, and I say this a lot on the show, to see a need and then even to think God is telling you something. And I'm going to take it there because you mentioned God, but then to step out on faith and do it, because oftentimes God will give us something and we're like, God, what? God, who?
Right?
What? God, why? That kind of thing. So listen, how many times did He nudge you? Did He tell you? Did He put it on your mind before you said, okay, God, I hear you?
Once.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, one time.
On that, girl. You better be obedient.
I was obedient.
Yeah. And then you called your girlfriend and said, God told me this. Did He tell you that too?
At first, I did do one event. I did a back to school event, just kind of on my own. But of course, friends and family did step in to assist, and the community. And after doing that one event, me and my girlfriend kind of talked about it. And she's like, that was just amazing. I will be willing to help you in any capacity that I can. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And it went from there.
Tell us a little bit about that first event, the back to school event. When was that? How long has Girl Squad been in existence?
Our first back to school event was about 2 years ago. We had an amazing turnout. There was about 35 girls, and we based the whole event through creative segments. So we discussed peer pressure, we discussed bullying, self-love, and to bring those issues to life, we did skits. They did different crafts. We had different visuals. So for example, for the peer pressure, we had jars with different amounts of candy in it. And we let each girl write down how many pieces of candy she thought was in the jar, keeping her answer a secret, turned all those in. We had everybody's answer. And then we had them to get with their group and discuss as a group, how many pieces of candy do you think are in the jar? And we showed them how much their answer changed just by discussing that amongst their group and being influenced by what the group members said. And also how close they came on their own, as opposed to how that answer changed and it was different with the group decision. Yeah. So that kind of helped them see peer pressure in a different light.
Absolutely. We're talking to Jasmine Frazier. She and her girlfriend, Taja Dennis, created Girl Squad in Lake City, South Carolina. Now, you're talking a little bit about creativity and that you use creativity to reach these girls. What are your skill sets as far as creativity are concerned? I know you just shared one thing with us. Tell us some other things that you're able to do with the girls through your creative skills.
So through the creative skills, we always just like to throw that aspect in there. For example, we had an event this past Saturday on December the 18th, and that was a ugly sweater event. So we threw that sweater piece in there, to catch their attention, be creative, come in with these ugly sweaters so that we can get you here, chat with you, love on you, talk about the holidays, talk about the school year, everything. We just like to put a unique twist on for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, what about your nonprofit? So you are a nonprofit. How long after you started your events and your organization, Jasmine, did you start thinking about kind of really making it formal and getting your LLC and or nonprofit? Because that's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure that you've got your paperwork in order, that you're a legitimate business.
Exactly. So actually, we just did the nonprofit piece this year. So it did take about 1.5 years before we decided okay, we're doing this. We love doing it. We want to continue to do it. Let's get it on paper. So about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's good because again, so many things that kind of opens you up to get funding that helps you get noticed as a, a legitimate nonprofit. And I think it shows the girls too what they can do,
Exactly.
what the possibilities are.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking to Jasmine Frazier with a girl squad. They're doing some amazing things in Lake City, South Carolina. So listen, tell me about some more things that you are planning.
So for 2022, we have some unique things lined up for the girls. We are planning a goal setting event to help them get their goals in line for 2022. Good. And of course, that'll have a creative twist as well. We can't spill the beans. We also have something special planned for Valentine's Day. Just to give a small spoiler alert, it will include selfies. So those are two of the main things that we have coming up in the first quarter of 2022.
Awesome. So are parents involved also with a Girl Squad?
Our parents are very involved. However, at the actual events, parents are not there. The girls are usually just a little more open when they can come in and, discuss the different topics with us. So the parents are not allowed to be there, but they are very supportive in any way, shape, or form that they can. So we are very thankful and appreciative for each and every one of them.
So Jasmine, what are you hearing from the girls? Not to divulge any personal thing about anybody, but between COVID and everything else that our young people have to deal with, what are you hearing from the girls that their needs are, that maybe someone else in another area may feel like, okay, let me address the needs of girls in my area too? What are your girls saying?
Excellent question. What we hear the most is, of course, self-love. I think that, there's just not enough talk to these girls about just loving themselves and not needing approval or validation from everyone around them to know that you are enough. So we just need more people spreading that message to them to just love yourself unconditionally, no matter what. And also bullying, a lot of them, they just don't know how to deal with it, how to cope with it. So we've heard a lot about that. But those are just the main two, I would say, self-love and bullying.
Yeah, and which, if you allow someone to bully you, it's because of self-love,
Exactly.
Really, it's really one and another. And, as women, we are already dealing with, what do I look like as Black women? It's our hair, our skin color, all of that. And then when you're a teen, girl, I can just imagine. I mean, look, I always tell people I was a fat little girl with glasses and braces, and it was tough,
Right.
And
now you add cyber bullying on there with social media. Yeah.
And just looking at all the celebrities and
Yes.
what everybody shows on social media. And, as a teen, even as an adult, sometimes people don't recognize what's fake and what's real,
Exactly.
So there is a lot for our children. So I love that you're really listening to the girls and doing some things that they need. Because if you don't love yourself, everything in your life is affected by it. Your choices in friends, in men, even in school, in your career. You just can't navigate successfully through life if you don't know your worth.
That's it, Trey. Exactly. Know your worth and then add tax.
Yeah, I love it. Know your worth and then that and the upcharge, girl. Know your worth.
And there you go.
50% more than that. That's right. Inflation.
That's it.
Jasmine Frazier joins us with Girl Squad. How can the community help?
From the community, we just need you guys to support Girl Squad. So just be on the lookout. Follow us on social media. On Instagram, that's going to be Girl Squad SC. On Facebook, it's Girl Squad. So follow us, see what we have going on. If it's just a like, a share, spreading the word, signing someone up that you know for one of our events. Those are all ways that you can help Girl Squad.
All right. Well, you see the information on the screen. If you want more information about Girl Squad, please contact them. If you want to talk to Jasmine or Taja about maybe starting a Girl Squad in your area, you can franchise it, right?
There you go.
To that would be awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you could do a Girl Squad in your community too, definitely contact Jasmine and Taja and do what you can do. You know what, Jasmine, as we close, I want to mention another thing to you that you said, God put it on your heart to do something. Listen, we can't do everything.
That's right.
We do what we can do. If we kind of stay in our niche, stay in our lane, if everybody does something, then we can really affect a change.
That's it, Trey. That is it.
All right.
Do what you can do.
That's right. Do what you can do. Because I'm sure, there's somebody say, well, why she ain't doing nothing for boys? Because she's doing something for girls. That's why.
There you go.
That's Jasmine Frazier with a Girl Squad. Her and Taja Dennis have done this amazing initiative, Girl Squad, in Lake City, South Carolina. And we applaud them and wish you much continued success and God's blessings. Thank you so much, Jasmine, so much for joining us today on Coping with COVID. Good luck to you. God bless and happy holidays.
Thank you for having me. Happy holidays.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for testing and vaccination sites. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In it together, SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every week on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, offering free rides to get your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Financial Services, with over 20 years of experience. Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Honest, professional, reliable computer sales and service. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In it together, SC, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Javis Financial Services, Computers Unique, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID